And if we're like Europe, trains leave on time, right? So let's get this show started.
Yes, most of the time, for sure.
Most of the time. You never be late for trains. Well, welcome everybody. I guess you guys can see me here. My name is Andrew Fowler, and I am one of the franchise partners here with Expedia Cruises and the North Vancouver and Lynn Valley locations. Joining us tonight, we do have my sales manager, Dale, on board with us here. A number of our consultants have joined us. Obviously, they're your consultants out there, as well as Michelle Palma and Paula Rizzo from Uniworld River Cruises. They're waving to everybody here, and you're going to hear some fantastic stories and some beautiful destinations, and the pictures are to die for. I just love the decorations, and they're going to talk about this, so I'm not going to steal their thunder. And we're also blessed to have Melanie Hoos. Did I get that right?
Paulus, yes.
Paulus, yes, from Destination France. And this week, Destination France is doing some presentations to the travel agency community. So they have taken some time out to join us here this evening to talk about the beautiful country of France. And you can do pre and post your river cruises. A little bit about us. Obviously, you've joined us. You may have heard about who Expedia Cruise Ship Centers is here in the North Shore. And I'm glad that you're joining us. I'm just going to take one more moment here to find out who that other person is. I'm just muting some mics along the way. Yes, we are in your community. So Expedia Cruises, North Vancouver and Lynn Valley, we have been in the community for over 30 years. And we've been servicing a lot of different destinations around the world. And I'm just going to find out. One moment, please. There we go. We are a CLIA certified agency. And if you haven't heard what CLIA is about or what CLIA means, definitely reach out to your travel consultant to talk about this. But think of CLIA as your good housekeeping seal of approval. It's a designation in the industry that has advocacy for travel agents, ports, and cruise lines. And so Uniworld is one of those members of that, as are we. And it simply means that we work to strive towards training, advocacy, stewardship of the environment, of our rivers and of our ports and of our oceans. And so once you've gotten that designation, you do everything possible to work in keeping on that designation. Our office is also what we call a President's Circle. And we all know what happened in 2020. We all got a year older and stuff like this. But one of the things that we got to do in 2020 is we were blessed again to have earned what's called the President's Circle Award for 2020. And that was a challenging year. But basically what this award simply means is that you're working with an agency that has proven itself in obviously sales, but also in the training and the development of programs and making sure that you are working with the very best travel consultants out there. So we're proud to have been awarded this again for the 2020 year. And like I said, that was no easy feat in 2020, but we certainly came through it and got that going. And that's been our 10th year that we've been earning that designation. So you're going to work with the very best of the travel consultants. Now, all of you probably have a travel agent, and you're probably wondering, yeah, I love my travel agent, but I also like Google. It's very good at doing some research. And yes, while the internet and Google are fantastic tools, a travel agent is your go-to person. We have the experience. If I haven't been to a certain region of the world, somebody on my team has, or we have a significant amount of knowledge about those destinations. We have many tools that we can go and find information. We're very passionate travelers ourselves. We have traveled the world. We love to travel. We love helping people enjoy their vacation, their hard-earned dollar, or their retirements, and enjoying that destination that they're going to go and see. We often can add value, and I'll put into that value saving you some dollars, but also making sure that we are going to maximize your vacation spend and all that awe moments that you're going to have. As I look at the screens here today, I don't know if any of you are the Instagrammers out there, but you have to have that Instagram moment, but you're probably familiar with the term where you just want to have that picture perfect moment to share with everybody around you. So there's envy in your vacation trips. Travel agents can help you with that. And we hear lots of stories, but we just want to make sure that as a travel agent, we make those stories come true. So work with an agent, ask us the questions, and we will certainly be more than helpful and happy to share your experiences and our experiences with the destinations. So without further ado, we're going to start tonight off with Destination France, and then we'll turn it over to Uniworld. And again, if there's any questions that are out there, please drop them into the chat, and I will do my best to track those, and we'll answer those near the end. So thank you very much. Melanie, over to you.
Bonsoir, bonsoir à tous. Hello, everybody. So I'm Melanie with Atout France, the France Tourism Development Agency. It's a real pleasure to be invited tonight to be among you. And thank you, Andrew and Paula, for thinking about us, France. So I will share my screen. I'll try to make it smooth. We never know. Just checking. So you should be seeing full screen, I hope. Is it right now?
I'm coming up here in just a second.
All right.
There it comes. Beautiful.
It's beautiful? Great. Wonderful. So first of all, about Uniworld, because I do know the products and I am always amazed because it's such a nice way to travel. It's probably the best way to travel. It's the comfort, the luxury of modern ships and its personalized services. And for me, refinement and peace of mind, it's what I think about when I think about Uniworld. So it's pretty much the best that you can have to tour France, not having to worry about the next day's plans. And I mean, there's probably nothing more secure to travel to France. So as you know, France has many charms, and Paris is without a doubt its shining star. It's featured in so many films and now on Netflix in brand new productions. You probably all had a pinch in the heart as you were watching Lupin or Emily in Paris while on lockdown, longing to be there. The French capital is unequaled and will welcome you even better than before. Many new projects are unveiled, from a new Chanel workshop visit to the new La Samaritaine complex with the much-awaited Le Cheval Blanc Hotel, but also new cultural spaces such as Les Ateliers de Lumière, the Pinot Art Collection, or the Hôtel de la Marine with its starred restaurant. It's going to please all savvy travelers and Epicureans. So France was among the first destinations to adopt a safety label early on last year. And the destination is now working hard at organizing the upcoming worldwide events that are the 2023 Rugby World Cup, the 2024 Olympic Games. But other cities in France are attracting travelers, and Bordeaux and the Southwest are certainly hotspots for connaisseurs. So I'm going to show you just a few of the photos that I chose for you tonight. So you can see some of Paris right now. So I chose typical photos, I think, just to remind us how beautiful the capital is. And of course, the most romantic view of all in France, or maybe it's from the Seine River, I'm wondering. And of course, as you can see, the official information about sanitary measures, if your clients have questions, of course, it's always on our website, france.fr, and it's updated weekly. And that brings me to the city of Bordeaux. So Bordeaux, the wine capital of the world, best European destination in 2020. It really has all we could dream about when traveling. Its UNESCO listed harbor and old city inspires visitors. We shop on St. Catherine Street, just like in Montreal, but it's rather Bordeaux, and we enjoy a cafe or a glass of wine facing the Garonne River or the Opera House. So it's a friendly city, very culturally oriented, lots of students as well, so a great, it's always very vibrant and with lots of action. And I have to admit, all of France envies Bordeaux right now. Since they have the high-speed train and now it's much faster to get to Bordeaux from Paris, a lot of Parisians have decided to move into Bordeaux. So it's really all the rave. I mean, it's a great city in France. So in the last couple of years, the city opened a flagship museum. You probably heard about it, the Cité du Vin. It's a museum dedicated to wine civilizations of the world. Very elegant building by the river, very edgy. The building is shaped like a wine carafe. So beautiful, and beautiful visit as well. But more recently, there were new openings, such as the Bassin des Lumières, which is actually an extravaganza of light and color. It's honoring famous painters, and I do have a photo here, you can see. Honoring famous painters through giant 360 degrees projections. So it's the site opened in a former submarine base in Bordeaux, and it ranks now among the must-sees. So about Bordeaux, because there's so much to tell, another of the newest addition to Bordeaux's cultural offer is the MMM. It's a museum dedicated to the maritime world, the history of human navigation, the protection of the oceans. And it deserves a proper visit. You want to go and explore it for its outstanding architecture, but as well as for its stunning scenography. So you know, Bordeaux is just an hour away from the Atlantic coast. And that is also great opportunities because you can go visit Europe's tallest sand dune, the Dune du Pilat, which is a beautiful location, really dreamy. It's also nearby that you can taste the famous oysters of the Atlantic coast that you usually pair with white wine. So it could be a Bordeaux white or Entre deux Mers white wine, but I mean, I'm sure you're going to find the perfect match. It's just that tradition of having a glass of wine at lunch or in the afternoon is very typically Southwest France. And I mean, when you're on vacation, you get used to it quite fast. So wine is Bordeaux and Bordeaux is wine. You all know that. But the offer is very wide. You could spend weeks touring the Bordeaux wine routes in the area. Of course, sometimes we don't have that much time, so we do start with the very famous properties, and you're sure not to regret it. It's always fascinating to see the traditions of wine in France, and especially in that area where there's a lot of traditions and customs and celebrations around wine. So at every trip, you have the chance to discover a new traditional way of presenting wine. I also have to say that a lot of the winemakers in the Bordeaux area have converted to organic wine, and their stories are amazing because they do own properties that have quite reputation and value, and it's been a challenge for them to switch, to new methods, but they do embrace it and they really believe in it, and they want to keep their.
You get a voice comes through once in a while. This is
So,
one voice.
hold on. Sorry. Oops. So more of the images of chateau, of course, and the vineyard. And wine harvest, which is also something that some people have the chance to experience. And I don't know if you've seen those this type of architecture. I'm not sure if you could guess, but Bordeaux is a very traditional, a bit houseman-like city in France. But if you drive just an hour south of Bordeaux, then you're starting to get this Spanish feeling, and it's the Basque country. And that's what you can see here, beautiful landscapes and a very typical architecture, different types of wines as well to discover, and the famous piment d'Espelette and many delicacies, some very fine cheeses as well that would satisfy all the gourmets. There's also another area next to Bordeaux, which is the Dordogne. And Dordogne is also very famous. It's been a beloved spot for UK citizens for a long time before Brexit, and hopefully after Brexit too. So beautiful architectures, chateau, wines as well, magnificent gardens, So English type, but also French style gardens. So what's beautiful about this area is that everything in Dordogne that you will taste is fresh, local produce. It's grown locally, assembled or aged by passionate and very proud farmers and artisans. So Andrew, you had suggested I focused this presentation on 2 areas of France. I think it's a good call since the choice in France is vast and we would be here all night had you not set a limit. So thank you for that. And so to switch regions, I will refer to a renowned French painter, Mr. Claude Monet. He's a key figure of the Impressionist art movement. And I bet you did not know that a very small town in the Lot, less than 2 hours from Bordeaux by car, there's a plant nursery. And so we're still near Bordeaux. And now we find that it's actually a site from the late 1800s, and it's France's largest water lily collection. So here's the link with Mr. Monet. It's actually where he ordered the water lilies that he used to design his own garden in Giverny, Normandy. So this is how we cross France from south to north, and we go to beautiful Normandy. So I just show you a few pictures of Nouvelle-Aquitaine and the Bordeaux area, just to conclude with that part of the region. This is a beautiful lighthouse that you can visit by boat, and which still had a guardian until last year. Amazing place. And the very small, quaint villages near Bordeaux. And now here we are in Monet's universe in Normandy. So, of course, Normandy, it's the land of Impressionism, the painting movement, the art movement. But it's also a very lush region. And I think that for some of the clients, Andrew, correct me if I'm wrong, it might be one of the first encounter with Normandy to just visit the Monet gardens, you know, and that can be really life-changing. Somehow you fall in love really quickly when you're in those gardens, and you understand that this the region in France of Normandy is delicate, but yet a bit rugged as well. Very turned to the countryside, and with really great you know, villages and traditions and celebrations that you don't think about big cities when you think about Normandy, but there's that as well. There are small villages, but some really amazing cities as well. So that's what I'm showing you right now. You have the half timbered house that are very typical of Normandy. You can find them everywhere. You have the apple orchards. You have the, it's also a region in France that is very fond of horses, so horse race, but also breeding horses, and you can find beautiful locations where the horses are trained for different types of sports and so on. So beautiful region, Normandy. It's also the land of cheese. I think most of you know that. So, and the Mont Saint-Michel, which is just a dream to visit, and which has been renovated several times. I mean, when I say renovated, it's mostly with a wish to preserve the site, to make sure that we don't endanger the nature around the Mont Saint-Michel, and that we keep it as authentic as it can be. And so far there's been really great improvements to this site. You also see the harbor in Honfleur, smaller town in Normandy, where you can find probably the narrowest houses. And I'm sure some of you went there before, and maybe you weren't told why those buildings are that narrow, but it's actually because a few hundred years ago, you paid property tax on the number of windows that you had. So, you know, what a nice way to save some money, which is typical of Norman people as well, to be very wise about their money. So just a bit less windows, and this a bit less white width. Sorry, that's because it's 10 something p.m. So, and Normandy is the land of good food, cooking. And so probably you're going to gain a little bit of weight. Even if you stay there only 2 or 3 days, you need to be careful. But thank God there's Calvados to solve that problem. So usually if you have a meal that was just a bit too copious, there's always this little sip of Calvados that brings everything back to normal. Calvados being a brandy made of apples, and there are more than 50 different varieties of apples in the region of Normandy. So great food and very modern cities as well. This is a picture of the city of Le Havre on the coast of the Channel. And it's a city that was completely bombed during the Second World War, but completely. It was literally nothing was standing anymore. And it was the first city in France where we could test building with concrete really quickly, rebuilding a city totally. And this is the church, the Saint Joseph Church, and it's striking from outside, but when you're inside, you feel like you're in another universe. Very spiritual visit and very intense contact with our modern architecture and what it can be, how beautiful it can be. So hopefully in several centuries, people will recognize that this architecture that was born from despair and destruction could also bring really beautiful emotions and live on. Voila. So I'm almost done, Andrew. Of course, I could not talk about the landing beaches of Normandy. In Normandy, it's a must-see. They have such beautiful coast. Really, the coastline is amazing. You can spend days and days. Many cities have boardwalks. They do all sorts of sports. There's a lot of animation on those beaches. And it's also very moving to remember what happened during the war. And so it's really a beautiful remembrance path, and I recommend it to all visitors. Plus, the weather is really nice, and the light shades, that inspired the Impressionist painters, they're everywhere. When you're on the beaches, you can see light change every minute of the day, and it's really a beautiful sight. So I have just a few more photos. Calvados, of course, the famous cheeses. There's one missing. I don't know if there are cheese experts here, but there are 4 cheeses in Normandy. So now on this photo, we have Camembert, we have Pont-l'Évêque, we have Livarot, one's missing. If anyone finds it, you can maybe put it in the chat later on. And if you're an expert in Normandy, I need to meet with you later. I also add one really important piece of art in Normandy, which is the Bayeux tapestry. Voila. So thank you so much for your attention, and hopefully you'll be selling some of those beautiful cruises, and Bordeaux and Normandy will definitely be part of the itineraries.
That was fantastic. Merci. Now, if France wasn't on your bucket list, folks, it's probably getting onto that list very quickly, and so many things to see and do. Thank you very much for that. So let's, I got my boarding pass, folks, so let's climb on board the beautiful boutique ships of Uniworld. Paula, I'm going to turn this over to you.
Well, good evening, everyone. Just going to set up our presentation here.
While we do that, thank you, Melanie. And I know it's late there for you, so if you're going to sign off, I'll take notes and we'll connect later on. But if there's any questions for Tourism France, please drop them into the chat and we'll follow up with you shortly.
Great. Thank you all.
Wow, look at those pictures. You're going to make me drool. Oh my goodness. I can't wait. Oh my goodness. Over to you.
All right. Well, thank you, Andrew, for the lovely introduction a little earlier, and a warm welcome to all of you this afternoon or evening. Thank you for taking an hour out of your busy day to spend with Michelle and myself. We're very, very happy to see you, to speak to you, even if only by virtual meeting. We all know it's been an unprecedented year, and I know, like all of us, we're dying, and we can't wait to travel again very, very soon. We hope by the end of the presentation, we reignite your love of travel with the all-inclusive river cruise with Uniworld. Whether you're looking for a romantic getaway, an invigorating solo adventure, a trip to reconnect with friends and family, with I know that so much of us want to do. Now is the perfect time to plan a vacation that I know you will love with Uniworld and with Expedia Cruise Ship Center. River cruising is absolutely the best way to cruise, and the best and most luxurious river cruise is with Uniworld. Sailing by river means enjoying all the conveniences of a traditional cruise along with all the benefits of inland travel. Stopping in small destinations on every trip, you'll be visiting bustling cities and hidden gems, little villages, only unpacking once. Even while on board, you'll be immersed in the local sites with ever-changing views right outside your window. Oh, but we lost it. With Uniworld, you can expect luxurious in-room amenities, free-flowing premium wines, beer and spirits, 5-star farm-to-table dining on board, multiple options for daily excursions, which Michelle will talk about when she starts talking about all the lovely French destinations that we offer. All at the highest quality, all carefully crafted for the ultimate travel experience, and all included in the price of your trip. There's all-inclusive, and then there's the unmatched level of inclusive, luxurious amenities that only we can provide. To ensure truly careful and effortless travel, we've gone ahead and included all of it. So the only thing you have to do is sit back, relax, and enjoy your vacation. We offer carefully curated excursions, unlimited premium wine and spirits, on-board gratuities are all included, round-trip airport transfers, ship-wide internet and Wi-Fi access, and all delicious 5-star farm-to-table dining. I'm already drooling. We also offer onboard fitness centers, wellness classes with a certified wellness instructor. There are 25 actual bicycles on board our ships, as well as Nordic walking sticks for onshore use. There's a variety of onboard entertainment that you can have. You can enjoy art classes, history lectures, local entertainers, and a movie theater on 2 of our super ships. Each ship is inspired by the very rivers upon which they cruise. So what that means is that you'll see distinctive themes, color palettes, custom-made fabrics, just as you see here in this beautiful, beautiful suite. Our ships are specially designed. They're a blend of old world elegance with the latest technological innovations and ultra luxurious amenities. We are owned by, we fall under the umbrella of the Travel Corporation and the Tolman family, which has, they are our patriarch and our matriarch, Mr. Stanley Tolman and his wife, Bea. Mrs. Tolman actually oversees the Uniworld Boutique River Cruises, and we are connected to the Red Carnation Hotel. So what that means is that every hotel, every cruise ship that we own is unique to itself. It's like a floating boutique hotels on the rivers. So our river ships are stylish, they're inviting, they have beautiful spaces, exquisite antiques, custom fabrics, and original artwork that is curated by the Travel Corporation. Service is at the heart of everything we do. We treat our guests like family, a philosophy that has been instilled in our company for over 100 years. At Uniworld, we like to say and truly believe that no request is too large, no detail is too small. With one of the best staff to guest ratios on the rivers, each guest receives our crew's full attention and unmatched attention to detail. It's actually 1 to 2.3 staff per guest. So the tiniest detail is looked after for our guests. The crew on board like to remember your favorite drink. They like to look after you if you're venturing off the ship, and they would like to surprise you maybe with a small box of chocolates from a local shop that you had just passed through. We also have our butlers that are trained trained and they meet the exact same standards as Buckingham Palace. So it is absolutely exceptional when you're traveling with us. With our ultra-inclusive amenities, you can also enjoy unlimited beverage on board. And I always said when I first started with Uniworld, I said to Michelle, I'm so glad to see that my favorite gin is on board. So my next, my next trip is definitely going to be on a Uniworld ship. Can you imagine me on board 8 to 15 days? Oh, I'm going to have a great time. But as you can see, all the on-board beverages, they are unlimited and they're all top shelf. Uniworld cruises to some of the world's most acclaimed wine producing regions in Europe, as I hope most of you know. Our onboard wine menus and expertly curated by our staff and our amazing sommeliers definitely reflect the destinations that we travel through. And for those that like a beer versus a wine, we feature unique lagers, ales, and stouts from some of the amazing local breweries, giving you a taste of the world's finest. When dining on board, this is absolutely something that sets us apart on the rivers. You'll be treated to world-class cuisine made from fresh ingredients, locally sourced from the destinations you visit. So, for example, if you're traveling through Italy, dinner could consist of prosciutto di Parma pizza or a beautiful and delicious ossobuco that will be made and prepared just the way that you like it. You'll also discover many of Mrs. Tolman's signature dishes, for example, her famous chicken soup or her sesame fried chicken, and even her delicious honeycomb ice cream. So she does influence us to this day. We also offer a variety of vegetarian and vegan options that are prepared just for you. So if you have a special meal request, the chef will be happy to accommodate anything that you need. From visiting a museum without the crowds to an after-hours tour of a famous landmark, these included once-in-a-lifetime experiences arranged privately for all our Uniworld guests. Our masterpiece collection includes tasting cheese, as Melanie mentioned a little bit earlier. You know, France and cheese are synonymous for delicious. I mean, it's just that's as simple as it gets. And you can travel to the streets of Bordeaux in a retro sidecar if going, you know, something a little bit different for you. And we'll always make sure that the masterpiece collection has optional experiences that are available for you at an additional cost. And keep in mind, we have over 80 exclusive experiences. So you have a huge selection to choose from to make and personalize that trip that you always wanted to have. You'll have several options of included excursions, as I mentioned, so you can explore exactly how you'd like. And this is what we mean by personalizing your trip. Sometimes you can't imagine being on a river and having something personal, but we have gone above and beyond. Our Let's Go onshore program features guided walking, hiking, cycling, kayaking, golfing tours, and so much more. You can also, as I mentioned, take your bicycle or your Nordic walking stick and head out to start your own adventure. Village days include an in-depth look into the quaint destinations where we visit local people who bring them to life. And also our Do as the Local Do can include something from anywhere to riding a subway, to stopping into a cafe, or even just having a local treat. You can choose a destination in Central Europe, Italy, France, Russia, or Portugal or Spain. Choose a river or choose even a favorite ship. From there, all you need to do is book and prepare for a unique boutique experience unlike anything you'll ever experience. And of course, you can also join us in Egypt or Peru, India, China, or Vietnam, and Cambodia for experiences that are totally off the beaten path, adventures with unsurpassed luxury aboard Uniworld the River Cruise. So, what's new? For 2021. Well, most of these ships were actually ready in 2020, but we had a little bit of a pause, as we all know. But for us, the Mekong Jewel is the newest and most luxurious ship on the Mekong River. It's an all-suite super ship. It includes 2 dining venues, 1 main restaurant, and a fresco eating area on the upper deck. The Mekong Jewel actually replaces the Mekong Navigator, if any of you have traveled with us before, and was constructed with sustainable, eco-friendly materials, and also features a swimming pool, a spa, a sauna, a steam room. It has 60, it holds 68 guests and 51 crew, with the largest suite on board, actually. Maybe we should put this one aside for you, Andrew. It's 924 square feet. So, yay, he looks happy. Next is the SS São Gabriel. It's the newest ship on the Douro, designed to embody the beautiful Douro River Valley region. This ship offers more lavishly appointed suites than the Queen Isabel and brings the destination to life. It's the wine is absolutely delectable. The food is delicious. Butler service will be added on board, giving guests the option to dine at any time you'd like. So it doesn't matter, whatever time of evening you would like to dine, you can have that request as well. The River Contas underwent a major and complete design renovation in 2020, and now she has debuted as the super ship, the La Valencia, to bring our guests an enhanced luxury experience inspired by Northern Italy. I haven't seen her. I've seen pictures, as you see here. Absolutely stunning. Murano glass, gilded accents, and artistic etched elements pay homage to the popular Venetian aesthetics of the 20th century. She is absolutely beautiful. And the SS Sphinx, which will make her debut on the Nile River in 2021. Will offer 2 gourmet restaurants, a swimming pool, massage room, and it has 42 gorgeously appointed suites. Egyptian artwork throughout the entire ship, fabrics and furnishings will bring the beauty of the region on board. Let's take a look at what they all look like.
How do you elevate the #1 river cruise line? We have a few ideas. It's the #1 river cruise line like you've never seen it before. 4 new super ships coming soon.
And now I'll hand it off to Michelle.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Paula. Good evening, everyone. So happy to join you this evening. I think both Melanie and Paula did such a fantastic job on our presentation so far. I've had the incredible good pleasure to work for Uniworld for just over 10 years now. And I'm happy to say that I've traveled on all 3 of the itineraries that we're going to feature in this evening's presentation. One of them, the Paris and Normandy, I've actually done, I think, 4 times now. So lucky me. But absolutely, France is my favorite country in the world. To see those pictures in Melanie's presentation are just so beautiful and so inspiring. And I can't wait to return back to such a gorgeous country as France. So what we're going to do is take you for the next few minutes through 3 of our main itineraries in France. We're going to start off with beautiful, brilliant Bordeaux. We're going to then move to Burgundy and Provence, and then we're going to finish up with our Paris and Normandy itinerary. So with that, let's start with brilliant Bordeaux. We have a brand new super ship, as you saw in the video, that made her debut in 2019. She underwent a complete transformation. She has only 124 guests on board and 50 staff. As Paula mentioned earlier, we have the highest staff to guest ratio of any river cruise line in the world. And you see the picture here in the top middle section of the beautiful lavender fields. And, you know, just absolutely gorgeous. This particular ship has 3 separate dining venues on board. So you have the opportunity to immerse yourself in incredible authentic, French classic cuisine while you're on board. As Paula mentioned, all of our ships are truly decorated to reflect the destinations that we are sailing through. So when you come back on board the Bon Voyage, you feel like you're in France, right? The decor, the design, the cuisine on board. And that's really why we travel, right? We want to immerse ourselves in the local culture. We want to drink fabulous wines, which is really what the Bordeaux itinerary is truly all about. And, every single day you're visiting different wineries and chateaus. This itinerary takes us to all three major wine regions in Bordeaux. And, every day you'll have the opportunity to, partake in different unique and very exclusive excursions along the way, some of which include a visit to Remy Martin for a private cognac sampling. We take you to, earlier and during Melanie's presentation, you saw the dunes. That's one of the excursions that we include, where you can go early in the morning at sunrise and watch the sunrise from, these are actually the largest dunes in highest sand dunes in all of Europe. You can enjoy yoga on the dunes after the sunrise has taken place. So there's so many incredible, unique excursions and opportunities that you have along the way. So let's start off in Bordeaux. So this is a 1-week cruise. It's a 7-day itinerary that runs round trip from Bordeaux to Bordeaux. And I absolutely love Bordeaux. I often think of it as like a mini version of Paris, because the architecture is really very similar to that of Paris, but without all the craziness of Paris, I like to say. And our ship is docked right in the heart of Bordeaux. So you're walking off the ship and you're right there in the city center. Absolutely beautiful. So when you arrive, of course, we greet you at the airport. As soon as you come out of the baggage claim area, you'll see the Uniworld representative there, who will have their big, as they say in France, lollipop, the lollipop sign, which is the Uniworld logo. And they'll take your bags for you and whisk you straight onto the transfer and bring you directly to the ship. Of course, some people choose to go in a day or two early, and certainly I would strongly encourage that as well. Our first port of call is to visit the incredibly beautiful, picturesque city of Blaye. With its renowned fortress, we pass through some of the most picturesque and beautiful scenery to get there. And of course, this historic fortress is an UNESCO designated World Heritage Site. One of the unique exclusive excursions that you can participate in with Uniworld is to do a morning yoga, a Let's Go yoga class right in the heart of the citadel of the fortress. Or you can enjoy one of our beautiful walking tours throughout the city that, of course, includes the fortress as well. Back on board, you'll have the chance to partake in an exhilarating French can-can lesson, where we bring local can-can dancers on board, and you can actually put on the little skirts and dance around. It's really so much fun. Our guests absolutely love it. It's a great way to start your cruise on board. On day 3, we move into the Medoc, and here we have a picture where we talk about the yoga. So every one of our ships has a wellness instructor on board. So if you want to, you can participate in morning yoga, stretching, Tai Chi classes that are included complimentary as well. On day 3, we move into the Medoc region, which, is absolutely, beautiful and so scenic. As you drive through this historic and beautiful wine region, we enjoy a wine tasting at a beautiful estate. We can enjoy, the estuary before heading to the pretty town of Paulac. And this is one of those very unique experiences. On board the ship, we also offer a paint and wine class. And these are complimentary as well. So you can sip some different wines from the Medoc region and enjoy a beautiful painting class on board the ship. And of course, you could also participate in one of our Let's Go biking that takes you through one of the most scenic and picturesque vineyards in all of the Medoc region. And I have to say, it's funny because, for many of us, we haven't been on a bike in a few years. And they're it's very smooth, easy paths that we take. We do picnic lunches in the vineyard. So it's one of the most unique experiences that we offer. Moving on to day 4, we head into the spectacular Le Borgne region. And Le Borgne and Cadillac are really known for their deliciously flavored dessert wines. Here we visit an iconic Chateau de Cazeneuve, where we meet the owner and enjoy, one or more glasses of the Sauternes wines. Sauternes wines are so unique. And one of the things that I love about Uniworld is, as Paula mentioned earlier, Yes, I agree, Dale. I think I think the wine would help everyone's painting skills. What's really unique about Uniworld is that we don't have house wines on board. And so the wines that we serve on board our ships are always reflective of the regions that we're traveling through. And I can tell you, having done this itinerary, the wines are absolutely spectacular. These are not base entry level wines. These are very fine wines that we serve on board. And you almost have to watch yourself, because the staff are always coming in and topping up your wine. And if you're busy talking to people, you don't even notice, and they've topped up your wine, and they're very large glasses. And before you know it, if you're not careful, you can have a glass too many. So that's my only piece of advice if you do sail on this itinerary. We also include here, as I said, a private visit to Chateau de Cazeneuve. Here we have a beautiful picture. Moving on to day 5, we start to head into the Saint-Emilion region. And this medieval town is just an incredible place to just get lost in, and to stroll the beautiful streets, with the little wine shops and boutiques and the bakeries. And really, it's one of those opportunities for you to feel like you're living like a local. Right? You don't necessarily need to participate in a specific tour, although we do a walking tour with a wine tasting. But once we bring you back on board the ship, as Melanie talked about earlier, the region is so well known for its oysters. And we do a private oyster tasting with a wine pairing back on board the ship that is absolutely one of those most memorable experiences that you'll, as the team was referring to earlier, it will be Instagram worthy, right? And social media worthy. Moving on in day 6, we head back into the Bordeaux region, which is very well known for being a traditionally agricultural region, and really is considered the soul of the region's, cuisine experiences here. What we offer here is what we call a village day, right? So every day you'll have a choice of anywhere from 3 to 5 different included excursions that are exclusive to Uniworld. And one of them might be, a city tour where you go around and you are able to see the highlights. And what's really nice about river cruising is you get off the ship in the morning after a full breakfast, you head off and do your included excursion, you come back for lunch on board, and then you have the rest of the afternoon free to explore. So if there's a particular area within, the city or the town or the village that you want to go back to and explore more on your own, you have that opportunity. And because the river cruises, our ships are docked always in the hearts of the cities and the towns and the villages along the way, you can just walk off and head back to those areas. We give you maps, the staff will give you directions and tips on where to go and great spots to stop in at. So you can really feel like you're, acting as living like a local. And so here, one of the great opportunities that we offer is a village day, as we call it, right? Where you truly are mingling with the locals. There's a farmer's market here that is absolutely spectacular. And honestly, nobody does farmers markets like the French. And we have them on a number of our itineraries. I could just spend hours and hours. I don't even want to get back on the ship. I just want to spend the entire day at the farmer's market. Rounding out our 7-day trip, we head back to Bordeaux. And again, you can explore it on foot or with one of our local guides or on 2 wheels. So we do offer a complimentary Let's Go Biking Bordeaux. It's the back streets that you have the opportunity to really explore the hidden gems of Bordeaux, right? We've done the orientation tour. You've had some time to spend in the city, and now's your opportunity to head off with a local guide and explore, the back roads and back streets of Bordeaux. So this is absolutely one of my most favorite itineraries that we offer in France. And if you are a wine lover, I highly recommend this particular itinerary. It is just breathtaking. And depending on the time of year that you travel there, of course, the vineyards are, as you can see from this photo, they're fully grown. They're ready for, the grapes, right, to be harvested. And so it's just absolutely beautiful. And as Melanie talked about earlier, you can take the high-speed train directly from Paris, or you can take a connecting flight. And so, of course, given the current environment with COVID, we will be providing our guests with, if you are returning home, we will, of course, provide testing, COVID testing. So we're still working on the the details on it, whether we'll bring somebody on board if you are returning on a return flight home, so that you have the testing that you need to board your return flight. Or in many cases, people tend to extend their stay. I don't think anyone goes to Europe and does a 7-day river cruise and then just goes home. People tend to either do a pre or a post cruise stay. And so with that, I think we're going to move now to the Burgundy and Provence region, which again, another wine lover's dream. And certainly if we have any foodies on this call tonight, highly recommend this as well. So Burgundy and Provence is again, an 8-day itinerary. You'll see here we have the beautiful super ship, the Catherine. She was built in 2014. She has 159 guests on board and 57 staff. Here we have the opportunity to travel on both the Rhone and the Saône rivers. This ship has over $2 million in original artwork on board. And as you're walking down the corridors of the 3 decks on the ship, it's just lined with original artwork, and it's just absolutely breathtaking. She's one of my most favorite ships. She has a resistance pool on board. She has a movie theater on board. And again, you come back to the ship and you feel like you're in France. She has that authentic, beautiful French decor and design throughout the entire ship. What's really special about this particular itinerary is we have several, as you can see, all the inclusions here, but we do offer a Let's Go hike through the Hermitage vineyards with a wine tasting. We also have a special masterpiece collection experience that takes you for a wine tasting at Châteauneuf-du-Pape, which is a very iconic winery. As I think Jeremy referenced earlier, the Valrhona, the French chocolates and wine. Of course, we have Valrhona on board our ships. What's really nice is that there are little candy dishes on your night table in your staterooms and your suites. And they're stocked with Valrhona chocolates, and which we visit the Valrhona factory while we're in the Latine Hermitage area, in the port rather. And you can go in and have the tastings, but you have this beautiful little chocolate dish on your night table that is stocked every day with fresh chocolates. And your cabin attendant will notice which ones that you like, and she'll restock it with your favorites so that you don't have to worry about picking out your favorites and leaving the other ones behind. They very quickly realize which ones are your absolute favorites. You'll see this photo here of the gorgeous lavender fields. Of course, this is something that Burgundy and Provence are so very synonymous with. If you really want to experience the lavender fields, I had the good fortune to several years ago. You want to go at the end of July or beginning of August when they are truly fully in bloom. But let's talk about the itinerary. So as I said, it is an 8-day. It sails from, in this particular direction that we're featuring, we're talking about sailing from Avignon to Lyon. But it does alternate, so you can pick the direction that you want to travel in. So we start off in gorgeous Avignon. Once again, you arrive, perhaps you've flown on an overnight international flight somewhere from anywhere across Canada, and we bring you straight to the ship. You have the opportunity to check in. Your stateroom will be ready usually around 2 p.m. But we do offer, some food and some beverage if you want to relax in the lounge or head to the dining room. And you can definitely head off the ship, energy provided, and spend a little bit of time in Avignon, but we do come back. Day 2 is in the iconic, beautiful, provincial town of Arles, which so inspired Van Gogh that he actually painted over 200 paintings. One of the unique experiences there that we offer is the opportunity to do a walking tour, to just get out and enjoy that fresh air and walk the city. We have several incredible local guides that will take you, once again, as the locals do, right? Go through the back streets of Arles and have that opportunity to immerse yourself in the local culture. And then, of course, that evening when we're back on board, we have the captain's special welcome reception and dinner. So traditionally, we have that on the second evening on board. And then the second last evening, we have the captain's farewell dinner. On day 3, we are in Avignon, which is obviously one of the most, iconic and fascinating cities in all of southern France. You'll have the opportunity to do a VIP tour of the Palace of the Popes. So again, we go past all the lineups of the hundreds or more people that are lined up in a queue to get inside. And we go through a VIP entrance and a special group for Uniworld. And of course, there is so much more. You also have the opportunity to kayak. As you can see here, there's a picture of the 2,000-year-old Roman aqueduct bridge that was built. We have a kayaking tour. If you feel like being active and getting out there on the river, this is something that is unique and exclusive. We also, for Avignon today, we have 2 masterpiece excursions that you can choose from. It's a cooking lesson that you can participate in at a stunning hotel, or a regional wine tasting here at the Châteauneuf-du-Pape. So there's 2 very unique and exclusive excursions. Moving on to day 4, we go to the beautiful, quaint town of Viviers. One of the things that I love most about Viviers is we have what we call a village day. So we go into a local's home, and quite often, how many times have we been to Europe where we've walked down these beautiful cobblestone streets and we pass all these, doorways into people's homes, and we wonder, what do these homes look like inside? I wish I could just step inside and, see what their day-to-day lives are like. And this is one of the unique experiences that we offer specifically in Viviers, where you go into a local's home, you meet their family, you can literally walk through their 3-story home from room to room. They open up their entire home to you, where you enjoy a glass of wine and they prepare some authentic French snacks for you to enjoy. So this is something that's very, very unique and exclusive to Uniworld. And then, of course, one of our connoisseur collections, depending on if you pick that date, is to participate in a truffle hunt, where you go to a truffle farm in a local town, in a local village, and have the opportunity to truffle hunt and taste and experience that. So that's something that's very unique. Day 5, we move on to Tain-le-Hermitage. And really, this is, they're twin villages. And when the super ship Catherine pulls in, it's just so breathtaking, because you can just see all the rolling hills with the vineyards. There's a beautiful bridge that links you to the 2 sides of the river. And it's just such a quaint, beautiful town to visit. Absolutely love it. Here again is where you have the opportunity to do a vineyard hike with a wine tasting, or you can just leisurely stroll and enjoy the beautiful chocolates at Valrhone, the factory, and the gift shop, of course, which has an incredible array of chocolates for you to bring home for your friends and family. Finally, we move on to Lyon. I mean, it really is the epicenter as it relates to, French gastronomy, and such a beautiful city. There's a lift that you can take up to the cathedral with this beautiful panoramic view of the city. And there's just so much to explore here. Our featured excursions include, a gastronomy tour of the city, as well as a Let's Go biking tour. And walking tour. So Lyon is one of those cities that you're going to go to and you're going to say, I need to come back and spend more time, because one day is just not going to be enough. Finally, we round out the itinerary in the incredible, beautiful city of Beaune. And certainly it's known for its wine, but it's also known for its medieval era hospital, the Hospice de Beaune, which you see here in this photo. And it's such an incredible tour to participate in, to hear the incredible history. But one of my favorite highlights as well is the farmers market. The farmers market here is like none I've ever seen before. And it just goes for as many streets and blocks as you can imagine. And there's 1 or 2 streets where it's just lined with all the vendors selling the fresh flowers. And another 2 streets are lined with fresh, fruits and vegetables and meats and cheeses. And then you'll have another few streets that are lined with local artisans selling beautiful, French baskets and clothing. It's one of the absolute highlights of this itinerary. And then, of course, that evening we had the captain's farewell dinner and reception as we head back on the final day to Lyon, where we sadly have to disembark the ship. But hopefully you have the opportunity to, continue on your trip and spend, additional time in France, because again, it's such a beautiful country to explore. And our final itinerary that we want to touch on this evening, and I know in the interest of time, I'm going to have to speak a little quicker, is our Paris and Normandy. Certainly the one that I've sailed on the most. I actually had the opportunity to travel with my husband and my 2 teenage boys a couple of years ago. They'd never been to Paris. And so it was just a wonderful experience. Our super ship, the Joie de Vivre, It had her inaugural in 2017. She has only 128 guests on board, and she has 54 staff. And she truly is a tribute to 1920s Art Deco Paris, as you can see from the images here on the screen. She has a beautiful restaurant on board that provides a private dining experience called La Cave du Vin. One of our suites on board the ship has an original Picasso in it, hanging on the wall. And she has one of the unique features of the ship is that we have a pool on board that in the evening, it's a spa pool area during the day, but in the evening, the floor raises up above the water and it converts to a supper club. And so you can enjoy authentic French brasserie, bistro type of menu on board and tapas. So our Paris and Normandy itinerary is a round trip, Paris to Paris. And our ship is docked in the heart of Paris. We're the only river cruise line that's as close to the Eiffel Tower. It's walking distance. You can walk to and from the Eiffel Tower, or you can hop on one of our complimentary bicycles and pedal over. One of the things I highly recommend is during the evening, the Eiffel Tower lights up with the twinkly lights. And directly across from the Eiffel Tower is a beautiful park area where you can grab some of the blankets from the Uniworld ship, lay up the blankets. There's an antique carousel there and an ice cream stand where you can enjoy a beautiful ice cream and watch the Eiffel Tower as the twinkly lights go up every hour on the hour, and then stroll or bike your way back to the ship. So let's talk about this itinerary. So we start, of course, in the heart of Paris. On day 2, we head to Vernon and more specifically, Giverny. As Melanie referenced earlier, to visit Monet's home in Giverny. You can bike there. It's a beautiful, easy to navigate pathway with one of our wellness instructor on board, or you can take a very quick coach ride as well. And we always make sure that we get there first, because it can get very crowded, right? And so we make sure that we leave early. As soon as breakfast is done, we're on the coach. We head straight to his home, and the gardens are absolutely breathtaking. His home is completely intact. You see his furniture, you see pictures of him in his living room, and it's the exact same furniture that you're looking at. But the gardens are just breathtaking, from the lily ponds to the bamboo forest area and everything in between. It's absolutely spectacular. So you have that opportunity as well. The next day we head into the Normandy region. And what I really love about this itinerary is we separate the Canadians from the American guests on board, and we take the Canadians to Juno Beach. The Canadian government has built this beautiful visitor center that's staffed by Canadian teens and kids in their 20s. And so you have this opportunity to go in and take your time and go through, the visitor center and to see, and to watch the videos and to see the images. It's just breathtaking. And it ends with a video of actual footage of the landing on the beaches of Normandy. And it's very emotional. You can see the bunkers, you can walk the beach. We take you to the Canadian cemetery where we give you a long stem rose to pick a soldier's grave to place it on. We then put you in on a coach and we take you to the American cemetery as well. And so you go to Omaha Beach and you go to the American cemetery, which there are over 9,000 soldiers that are buried there. It's a very somber, very emotional day, absolutely. But I really love the fact that we take the Canadians to Juno Beach because it's just such an important part of our history. And so that day is really all about, the highlights, are the beaches of Normandy. Moving on the next day, this is one of my favorite ports in the world, is Honfleur and Etretat. Honfleur, as Melanie showed earlier, it's this beautiful seaside quaint village, and it has a harbor there that's shaped like a U. And as you can see from the image here, it's lined with all these little sailboats, and all the way around is where you see those buildings on the main levels are all restaurants and cafes, and they're famous for their moule and frite. So you can enjoy fresh mussels and French fries on the patio. And it's cobblestone streets all the way around with beautiful art galleries and shops where you can get fresh, caramel and chocolate. It's absolutely one of my favorite ports in the entire world. And if we have any golfers on the call, we also include, it's not an addition, additional cost, we include complimentary 9-hole golfing on the cliffs, on a golf course on the cliffs of Etretat, which is breathtaking to go to Etretat. These beautiful white cliffs, leading into the ocean. So that's certainly a secondary option as well. On day 5, we moved to Rouen. And Rouen is so famous, that has this beautiful historic old quarter area that's only pedestrian, no cars are allowed, that has all types of little boutiques and shops that you can look at. This is also, there's an iconic restaurant there that Julia Child had her first French meal in, which inspired her to become a chef. And we stopped there along the way. It's just such a quaint, beautiful place to visit. On day 6, we head to the Palace of Versailles, and it's you cannot skip Versailles. Sometimes people say, oh, I've been busy. It's been such a busy itinerary. I want to relax on board. Absolutely not. You must take in the Palace of Versailles, because what we do for our Uniworld guests is, again, we have a special VIP group entrance that we go in past the thousands of people who are lined up to get in. And we also have the opportunity to visit the private apartments. And this is something that no other company offers. And it's great because they have the red velvet rope that blocks people from going down this corridor into the private apartments. But we go to the Hall of Mirrors, of course. We visit all the main areas within the palace, but then we see the private apartments. And with that, we head back to Paris. So we have another full day to explore Paris, and whether that's doing one of our sidecar adventures, whether that's visiting, the Latin Quarter, or enjoying one of our do as the locals do, or a bike ride along the Seine on the riverbanks, the day is yours, right? If you want to take in a visit to the Moulin Rouge during the evening, or as I like to do, I like to just take a leisurely stroll and take in everything that the Paris evening, the beautiful bustling city has to offer. And so with that, I think that covers all 3 of our itineraries that we wanted to feature this evening. I'm going to turn it back over to Paula for a couple of other items before we wrap up our presentation this evening. Over to you, Paula.
Thanks, Michelle. Thank you, everybody, for hanging in there. We've got a few more minutes to go, and not without reassuring you that with the Uniworld, your well-being remains always our top priority as we adapt to the new world, where it's imperative for all of us to take additional measures to stay healthy. That's why you can travel with us, reassuring you that the highest level of hygiene standards and protocols are going to be met on board. We're actually the first company, cruise company, to implement the ACT Clean Coat. It is actually an antimicrobial coating that is odorless, it's non-toxic, and most importantly, it kills bacteria and viruses, including COVID-19. So as I said, moving into the future, it might be part of what we continue to do for many, many months and years, but rest assured that your well-being and yours and our staff are always top of mind. For over a decade, we've introduced a clean water program. For us moving, into the future, sustainable tourism is a #1 priority for the entire Travel Corporation and the 40 brands that fall under it. We together, it is a joint initiative between the Travel Corporation and Uniworld. We've partnered together with the Tread Right Foundation, and we welcome and we preserve, the waters of the world for generations to come. What we have done is that we have introduced, we're banning more than 60 types of single-use plastics across all our operations, including straws, water bottles, and plastic bags, by 2022. We want to make sure, and we're committed to you and to the future, our children, and so that the environment remains vibrant for generations to come. Uniworld provides also a very, very warm welcome and to our solo travelers. It is a very popular way to travel for solos, river cruising. We begin each cruise with an exclusive welcome cocktail for those travelers to allow them to meet each other from day one. Our incredible staff go beyond, above and beyond every day to make sure that our solo travelers feel comfortable and special on board. And we recently launched an incredible promotion for all our solo travelers. So contact your Expedia travel advisors for all that information. And they are available, the solo traveling option, on over 150 departures throughout 2021 and 22. It's a new year. As we all know, 2021, I honestly can't believe it's the end of February, but we are launching, we have launched actually our Cruise Back to Travel promotion. So if you're still thinking of traveling in 2021, maybe it's going to be a little bit later in the year. We have some of our beautiful Christmas markets, for example. So when you purchase a trip, or you're looking at purchasing a trip, you can save up to 30% on select 21 departures, and you also receive an additional $700 off per person, and also a private car transfer from the airport to the ship upon arrival. And this is valid until March 31st. So if you're thinking about it, for those that are, this is an opportunity for you to look at. And now is actually the best time to book early and save on our 2022 river cruising. Maybe it's a little bit more comfortable thinking ahead to 2022. So for all early booking, it is an early booking savings for 2020. You can save up to 12% across all our departures, including suites, when you pay in full at the time of booking. And in addition, because you are all here with us tonight, and you are with our preferred partners, Expedia Cruise Ships in North Vancouver, we'd also like to offer you an additional $250 off per person for joining us this evening as their valued clients. So that's it. We wrapped up. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening. And just from all of us, we just want to remind you that we do put our guests at the heart of everything that we do, delivering the best holidays for all our travelers. And Michelle and I thank you. And I thank also Jeremy and all the travel advisors from Expedia North Van that are here today. I know all of you feel the same way. So when you and your guests and your clients are all ready to travel, we will be sure to be there to welcome you all on board. Thanks again, everybody.
Thank you, Paula. Thank you, Michelle, and thank you, Melanie, for your time here this evening. You've done a wonderful job painting the picture of France and boutique river cruises. So I'm looking forward to fielding any questions you have out there. And if you have any time to think about it, do take the time, but reach out to your travel advisors, because these ships are going to fill up, and you don't want to be left on port waiting on the sidelines. So we'll take a few minutes.